Respect is not demanded, it's earned. Respect is not something you demand, it's something you earn by living with integrity, discipline, and self-respect. If any habits undermine these values in your life, it's time to remove them. Only then will you earn the respect you truly deserve. Let me be brutally honest with you. Most people will never respect you, no matter how hard you try. You can work tirelessly and bend over backward for others, only to be looked down upon. Why? Because respect isn't just about what you do. It's about who you are and the habits you carry every single day. I'll tell you from personal experience, I had to learn this the hard way. I used to think that being nice, agreeable, and always available would earn me respect. In reality, I was just making myself smaller in others' eyes. The truth is, you'll never be respected unless you cut out behaviors that undermine your worth. I remember being stuck in a loop, wondering why people didn't take me seriously, or why I was always the one left behind. It wasn't until I started removing toxic habits, like constantly making excuses or seeking validation, that things began to change. Respect didn't come overnight. But the moment I stopped caring about pleasing others and started respecting myself, the world around me shifted. Here's the deep message. Respect doesn't come from others. It starts within. If you don't demand more from yourself, no one else will. It's time to face the truth and remove these habits from your life once and for all. Only then will you command the respect you deserve. Habit number 1. Always making excuses. Let me be real with you. Making excuses is the fastest way to ensure you'll never be respected. We all do it. You might think your excuse is legitimate, that it's not your fault something went wrong. Maybe it was the traffic, your coworker didn't provide the information on time, or simply life happened. But here's the hard truth. Nobody cares about your excuses. People respect results, not reasons. I remember a time in my life when I was full of excuses. I'd always show up late, blaming it on traffic or some random event. I thought as long as I had a reason, it was fine. But eventually I noticed something. No matter how valid my excuse was, people started seeing me as unreliable. Friends didn't trust me to show up on time. My boss stopped giving me important projects. Even my family subtly stopped relying on me. I was losing respect left and right, and I couldn't figure out why. The truth is, excuses don't make you look responsible. They make you look weak. They show that you're not in control of your life. Nothing kills respect faster than showing people you're not in control. Whether you're late because you overslept or because of traffic, the end result is the same. You weren't where you were supposed to be, and that's on you. When I finally realized this, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was the problem, not the world around me. I was letting myself off the hook and expecting people to accept my excuses. Here's something that's both freeing and harsh. The world doesn't owe you anything. People respect accountability, not deflection. I remember once, after showing up late again and giving my usual traffic excuse, someone asked, "Why didn't you leave earlier?" That stung, but they were right. It clicked for me. Every time I made an excuse, I was essentially saying, I'm not responsible for my own life. How could I expect anyone to respect that? Excuses are a mindset. Excuses aren't just words, they're a mindset. They keep you locked in a victim mentality, always blaming outside factors for your failures. But the moment you take responsibility, everything changes. When I stopped making excuses and started owning my mistakes, people started to trust me again. It was as if they could see the shift in my mindset, and they respected me for it. No more excuses. If I messed up, I owned it. If I was late, I apologized, without traffic stories. People are much more forgiving when you don't try to weasel your way out with excuses. They respect someone who says, "Yeah, That was my bad. I'll do better next time, far more than someone who keeps pointing fingers at circumstances. The takeaway: you have to stop lying to yourself before you can expect others to respect you. Every time you make an excuse, you reinforce the idea that you're not in control of your life. And if you don't believe you have control, why should anyone else believe in you? Respect is built on reliability, accountability, and self-respect. If you keep hiding behind excuses, people will see right through it, and you'll never earn the respect you want. So next time you feel an excuse creeping up, catch yourself. Take a breath, own the situation, and move forward. It's a hard habit to break, but once you stop making excuses, you'll be surprised at how much more respect you command from the people around you. Habit number 2, being lazy. If you're lazy, let me tell you this: nobody will ever respect you, and honestly, they shouldn't. I know that sounds harsh, but it's the truth. You can have all the potential in the world, all the talent and all the dreams, but if you sit around doing nothing, none of it matters. People don't respect potential, they respect action. Laziness is the ultimate sign of wasted potential. I used to think I could coast by on my talent. I was the kind of person who could get away with doing the bare minimum because I was smart enough to achieve decent results without really trying. But you know what? No one respected me for that. Sure, people might have said, "Oh, he's capable," but deep down they didn't take me seriously. Why? Because laziness isn't a lack of ability, it's a lack of effort, and effort is what earns respect. A wake-up call. I remember one specific moment when this truth hit me hard. I was working on a group project. Everyone else had put in the work, except me. I figured I could just show up, contribute a little here and there, and let the others handle the bulk of it. But when we presented, everyone's efforts were obvious, except mine. The looks I got afterward, the subtle but unmistakable disappointment, made it clear I had lost their respect. I didn't just let them down, I let myself down. It wasn't even about the project. It was about the fact that I wasn't pulling my weight. People could see it, and they lost respect for me, plain and simple. The visibility of laziness. The thing about laziness is that it's incredibly visible. You might think people don't notice when you're slacking off, but they do. They notice when you're not pulling your weight, when you're cutting corners, or when you're avoiding hard work. And the worst part, laziness is contagious. It drags other people down with you. They stop expecting much from you, and that's the death of respect right there. When people don't expect you to contribute, to work hard, or to push yourself, they stop seeing you as valuable. The deep message laziness is a form of self-sabotage. It's not just about being tired or unmotivated. It's a mindset. It's convincing yourself that you can get by without effort. But every time you choose laziness, you're choosing to stay small. You're telling yourself that comfort is more important than growth. And trust me, people respect growth, not comfort. I had to learn this the hard way. I used to think taking the easy road was being smart, that I could save energy and still get by. But here's what I didn't realize. Success isn't just about talent or intelligence. It's about persistence, hard work, and dedication. The people who are respected are the ones who push through discomfort, take on the hard tasks, and show up even when they don't feel like it. Laziness is the opposite of all that. It shows you're not willing to push yourself. And if you're not willing to do that, why should anyone respect you? You can't hide laziness. It shows up in the way you carry yourself, how you talk about your work, and how you approach challenges. People can tell when you're coasting, and it reflects in how they treat you. If you're lazy, don't expect people to trust you with responsibilities. Don't expect them to look to you for leadership. Habit number 3, neglecting your personal appearance. Here's something people won't often tell you. How you present yourself says more about you than you think. If you're neglecting your personal appearance, don't expect anyone to respect you. I know what you're probably thinking. Isn't it superficial to judge someone based on how they look? Sure, it might sound shallow on the surface, but the truth is, your appearance reflects how much you respect yourself. And if you can't respect yourself, why would anyone else? Appearance reflects self-respect. I used to think, what does it matter? People should like me for who I am, not what I look like. So I'd roll out of bed, throw on whatever was clean, and show up. I thought I was being real or authentic. In reality, I was just being lazy. And you know what? It showed. People weren't taking me seriously. I didn't command attention in meetings, and I certainly didn't give off the aura of someone who had it together. A harsh lesson. One day, I had a wake-up call. I walked into an important event wearing wrinkled clothes, messy hair, and generally looking like I didn't care. And that's exactly the vibe I gave off. Someone who didn't care. The moment I stepped into the room, I could feel the difference in how people interacted with me. I wasn't taken seriously, and I certainly wasn't treated with respect. Meanwhile, those around me, who had put effort into their appearance, instantly commanded attention. The deep message. Neglecting how I looked wasn't just affecting me, it was affecting how others saw me. I was losing respect because I wasn't presenting myself as someone worthy of it. Your appearance doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to show that you care about yourself. When you respect yourself enough to put in effort, whether that's grooming, dressing well, or simply carrying yourself with confidence, others will respect you too. Habit number 3. Neglecting your personal appearance. Respect starts even before you open your mouth. Your personal appearance is a form of non-verbal communication. It tells the world, I respect myself and I take this seriously. When you take care of yourself and present yourself in a way that shows effort, people notice. It's not about wearing expensive clothes or looking like a model. It's about showing that you value yourself enough to put effort into your appearance. That effort signals to others that you take yourself and them seriously. Think about it. When someone shows up disheveled, unkempt, and looking like they just rolled out of bed, what's the first thought that comes to mind? Probably something along the lines of, this person doesn't care. And if you don't care enough to take care of yourself, people subconsciously assume you won't care about your work, your relationships, or your responsibilities. On the flip side, when someone walks into a room well-groomed, confident, and put together, it immediately sets a tone of respect. People are more inclined to listen to, trust, and respect them. The deep message. Personal appearance isn't just about vanity, it's about self-respect. It's about showing the world that you value yourself enough to put in the effort. When you respect yourself, others will follow suit. I had to learn this lesson after an embarrassing moment. I showed up at an important event wearing wrinkled clothes, messy hair, and generally looking like I didn't care. And that's exactly the vibe I gave off. I don't care. The moment I stepped into the room, I could feel the difference in how people interacted with me. I wasn't taken seriously, and I certainly wasn't treated with respect. Meanwhile, those who had put effort into their appearance commanded attention effortlessly. After that day, I made a conscious decision to change how I presented myself. I started dressing with intention, paying attention to details like grooming and cleanliness. The change in how people treated me was almost instant. First impressions matter, whether we like it or not. If you want respect, you have to look like someone who deserves it. Neglecting your appearance sends the message that you don't care, and if you don't care, neither will anyone else. Taking care of your personal appearance is a form of self-discipline. It's about showing up in the world as the best version of yourself. If you're constantly neglecting your appearance, you're telling people and yourself that you don't value who you are. And guess what? They'll believe you. Stop thinking appearance doesn't matter. It does. and it always will. Respect starts with how you carry yourself inside and out. Take that extra time in the morning, put in the effort, and watch how people start to treat you differently. Respect yourself first, and the world will follow. Habit number 4, ignoring boundaries. If there's one thing that can make people lose respect for you faster than you can blink, it's ignoring their boundaries. Boundaries are not optional, they are essential. When you dismiss or overlook them, you send the message that their feelings, space and comfort don't matter to you. And trust me, that's a surefire way to lose respect. I learned this lesson the hard way. I used to think being overly involved in people's lives was a sign of caring. I believed offering unsolicited advice, pushing my opinions, or constantly checking in was just me being a good friend or concerned colleague. But here's the reality. It was suffocating. Because I didn't understand or respect other people's boundaries, they didn't respect me in return. It was a tough pill to swallow, but once I realized that respecting boundaries is a form of respect itself, everything changed. A personal wake-up call. There was a time when a close friend started pulling away from me, and I couldn't figure out why. I would call her every day, text her about everything, and even insert myself into her problems. I thought I was helping. In reality, I was crossing boundaries without even realizing it. One day, she confronted me and said, "I just need some space. It feels like you don't understand that." It hit me like a brick. I had completely ignored her need for boundaries, and in doing so, I had lost her trust and respect. The deep message boundaries aren't barriers, they're healthy limits. They allow people to protect their mental, emotional, and physical space. When you ignore someone's boundaries, you're really saying, "I don't care about your comfort, I care more about my needs." And let's be honest, who's going to respect someone who operates like that? Let's go deeper for a moment. Ignoring boundaries isn't just about being pushy. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of respect. Respect isn't just about being polite or kind. It's about recognizing and honoring someone's autonomy. It's about realizing that people are allowed to have space, to say no, and to set limits without you taking it personally. When you respect someone's boundaries, you acknowledge that they are their own person with their own needs. Habit number 4, ignoring boundaries. Continued. When I started respecting other people's boundaries, something amazing happened. They started respecting me more. Relationships became stronger and more genuine. I was no longer seen as the person who couldn't take a hint. Ignoring boundaries isn't just a personal issue, it shows up in the workplace too. For instance, maybe you have a coworker who prefers working independently, but you keep pushing them for constant updates. Or perhaps you have a boss who values concise communication, but you overwhelm them with unnecessary details, overstepping their boundaries of time and focus. In these situations, you're not just annoying people, you're losing their respect. When you don't honor someone's time, space, or preferences, you communicate that their needs don't matter to you. The deep truth: boundaries aren't about keeping people out. They're about keeping relationships healthy. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect. If you can't respect someone's boundaries, you can't expect them to respect you. Boundaries create a foundation for trust. Every time you ignore a boundary, you chip away at that trust. Without trust, there can be no respect. People will start to avoid you, distance themselves, and silently push you out of their lives because they don't feel safe around you. When someone sets a boundary, whether subtle or direct, don't take it personally. Instead, view it as an opportunity to demonstrate respect. By honoring their limits, you show them that you value their comfort, autonomy, and well-being. In turn, you'll earn their trust and respect. When you embrace this mindset, you'll notice people will trust you more, feel safer around you, and value your presence because you understand the importance of personal space and emotional well-being. Habit number 5. Taking credit for others' work. Taking credit for someone else's work is one of the fastest ways to lose respect, not just from the person whose effort you stole, but from everyone who witnesses it. It's dishonest, self-serving, and will make people distrust you. Once trust is broken, rebuilding it is a steep uphill battle. This habit isn't just unethical, it's a surefire way to sabotage your reputation. A personal wake-up call. Early in my career, I was eager to make a name for myself. In a team project, I contributed a fair amount, but one of my colleagues went above and beyond. When it came time to present the results, I subtly framed my words to make it seem like I had done more of the heavy lifting than I actually had. I didn't outright lie, but I made sure the spotlight was on me, not the person who truly deserved it. At first, it felt great. The praise was rolling in, and I was getting the recognition I craved. But here's the thing, people always find out the truth. It wasn't long before my colleague realized what had happened, and soon enough, others did too. The admiration I had basked in quickly turned to skepticism and disappointment. It was a tough lesson, but one I needed to learn. The deeper message. Stealing credit isn't just about hurting others, it's about hurting yourself. When you take credit for someone else's work, you're essentially admitting, I don't trust my own abilities enough to stand on my own 2 feet. It's a reflection of insecurity, not strength. Shortcuts to success never lead to genuine respect. Respect is rooted in authenticity, something that credit stealing completely undermines. The long-term damage of this habit can be devastating. Once people see you as someone who doesn't give credit where it's due, they'll label you as self-serving. Colleagues will hesitate to collaborate with you. Friends won't trust you. Opportunities will slip away because people don't want to associate with someone who doesn't play fair. Taking credit for someone else's work doesn't just steal their effort. It robs them of their sense of accomplishment and pride. It damages relationships, creates resentment, and ultimately isolates you. The right approach. Instead of taking shortcuts, focus on collaboration, honesty, and integrity. Celebrate others' contributions. Share the spotlight. When you uplift others, you build goodwill, foster trust, and earn authentic respect. Success achieved through integrity lasts longer and feels far more fulfilling. It creates allies instead of enemies, trust instead of suspicion, and respect instead of resentment. Habit number 5. Taking credit for others' work. Taking credit for someone else's work is one of the most damaging habits you can develop, not just for the person whose effort you've overshadowed, but for your reputation as well. It's dishonest, betrays trust, and sends a clear message that you value your success over fairness. The impact of taking credit: loss of respect. People may not call you out immediately, but they notice when credit isn't distributed fairly. Over time, this erodes respect and trust, leaving you isolated and excluded from meaningful relationships and opportunities. Betrayal and resentment. Taking credit is a form of betrayal. It tells someone, I see your effort, but my success is more important than recognizing you. This betrayal creates deep resentment and damages trust, often irreparably. Burning bridges. When you prioritize personal gain over integrity, you risk burning bridges that you may never rebuild. Respect, once lost, is hard to regain. Hollow success. Success built on someone else's work is ultimately hollow. It may feel like a win in the moment, but it undermines your reputation and credibility over the long term. Why sharing credit builds respect. Acknowledging and celebrating others' contributions doesn't diminish your own, it amplifies it. Leaders who uplift and recognize their team earn respect, admiration, and loyalty. Sharing credit reflects confidence in your abilities and a commitment to fairness. People naturally gravitate toward those who are fair, honest, and willing to share the spotlight. These traits demonstrate security and integrity, qualities that command long-lasting respect. How to fix this habit: acknowledge past mistakes. If you've taken credit unfairly, own up to it. Apologize sincerely and give the person the recognition they deserve. This won't erase the mistake, but it shows accountability and a willingness to grow. Make a commitment to integrity. Going forward, ensure that credit is given where it's due. If you're part of a team, highlight the contributions of everyone involved. Emphasize collaboration. Success is rarely a solo effort. Acknowledging others' work demonstrates humility and a collaborative mindset, which builds trust and strengthens relationships. Build a reputation for fairness. When you consistently recognize and celebrate others' efforts, you create a foundation of trust and respect. People will see you as a leader who values teamwork and integrity. The deep truth. True respect doesn't come from stepping on others to get ahead. It comes from lifting others up. Success achieved by recognizing and amplifying others' contributions isn't just more meaningful, it's sustainable. Integrity is the foundation of respect. By prioritizing fairness and collaboration, you'll build a reputation as someone people trust, admire, and want to follow. Would you like to continue with the next habit or further expand on this?